Okay, hi, my name is Karen Lowenos, and I really love social working. So the reason I want to become a social worker is because I feel like kids should have better opportunities, and my friends always had like bad situations, so I felt like I should help them and I should help other kids.
I chose to be a social worker, and our group is called Finding the Solution. I chose to be a social worker because my brother has special needs, and he would have a lot of social workers go to our house, and they would help him make plans for his behavior. And I really like the idea of becoming a social worker ever since, and I really want to help families that have kids with special needs, and that's why I want to become a social worker.
Hi, my name is Brittany Guerrero. I chose to do social working because I think that kids have the right to get the help they need to get into happy homes, and there's stuff going at home that they might be scared of talking about.
My name's Armando, and I want to become a social worker because I feel that a social worker is really extremely flexible, and that's something that I really want to look for a career. I like flexibility. I just don't want something to be this way or no way. Besides doing what I'm supposed to do, like helping people like psychologically or mentally or anything like of that sort, it would just also be an opportunity to meet a lot of people. I mean, make more connections between my community, and it's just my way of giving back to my community. So, yeah.
In order to become a social worker, the Lexile level you need is 1,235 through 1,415, and the medium Lexile level for this career is 1,360. If you want to become a social worker, one of the degrees you need is a bachelor's degree. Even though you have less opportunities, but you still be working in, like, for example, human behavior theory or issues with the welfare. If you have a master's degree, then you can work on like child abuse and social working for children and adults. If you want to like have a social work program in college or university, you will have to earn a PhD for that.
The responsibilities of being a social worker include individual families and groups of people to provide therapy in order to improve patient mental health, and also to provide optimism for a better life and experience.
The training required for social working is to grow and manage your concerns, maintain a practice of excellence, and better serve individuals, families, and communities.
The average salary of a social worker is $50,000, and it could range between $28,830 to $79,203, and it always depends on where you work and your position.
What made you want to become a social worker?
I couldn't decide if, when I was in college, I couldn't decide if what exactly I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to work with kids. I kept deciding between social worker and school counselor, and so I went to school actually to become a school counselor first, to get my master's, but then nobody was hiring. The year that I graduated is the year that they fired a lot of, or laid off a lot of school counselors. So I was like, you know what, I'll try my second choice now. And my second choice was social worker, and I was a social worker in the San Fernando Valley.
What are the pros and cons of being a social worker?
Pros, you get to help kids and you get to help families. I knew I always wanted to work with kids, but as a social worker, I really got to work with families too, and that was kind of cool because I got to work with adults and I got to work with little kids. I worked with all kinds of families, Black, Latino, white, Middle Eastern, Asian, like it was really cool. The job was sort of unpredictable, and you always had to respond to your family's emergency. I couldn't help one family because I was dealing with the emergency of another family. And I mean, of course I want to help with the emergency of that family, but then it was hard because I wouldn't be able to get to help the other family. I think it was hard to balance for me because I wanted to be able to help everybody all the time, and that was impossible. So just having that goal of like wanting to help everybody, but it was impossible to schedule that, you know?
required for a social worker?
You have to be really flexible. Like I was saying, there were some days I would go into a family and boom, there would be an emergency. You definitely have to be flexible. You can't just be like, no, it's this way or no way. Like that's not how social work works. You also have to be able to communicate well, because sometimes I had to make some of my families go to classes. I had to make some of my families go to therapy. I think my passion was to help people heal just from stuff that had happened in the past.
Were you ever emotional when it came to like a hard story?
But I've learned, I think I still am emotional when it comes to hard stuff, but I've learned if a student, for example here, if a student comes to me and like is crying, if I start crying, then I can't help them, right? Like, and so I have to learn how to like keep myself in check so that I can help them. But there have been times when if a kid tells me a really sad story, I cry like at home. Like I'll go home and be like, this kid told me this, oh my God. So imagine like other people, other human beings going through that. Like there is a lot of things in this world that are not fair. Before I was a social worker, I worked at Venice High School as an assistant teacher. One of my students was shot and killed in a gang fight, and it was broad daylight. I didn't find out about it until the next day, and I just cried right there. Like they told me, they were like, Alan passed away, and I was like, done. And so I went there and I was like, I'm the social worker, I'm the counselor, I gotta like keep myself together. And I got up and I saw him and oh my gosh, I almost hit the floor. And I turned around, I told the mom who I was, and she started crying. And also he was only 19. Like that was he had so much more life and to go, and he had so much more potential, and like, yeah.
Some of the related occupations are educational guidance school and vocational counselors, also probation officers and correctional treatment specialists. For gender, females are more common as social workers. Even though there's a majority of females working as social workers, men still get paid more, so.
Well, volunteermatch.org is a great website just for finding volunteer opportunities in general. But since we're focusing on social working, we would like to learn more about social working, volunteer opportunities. So when you search up social working, we get about 964 social working volunteer opportunities just in California alone. Based off the red-orange, California is in high need of social workers based off the low need, medium need, and high needs of social workers throughout the country.
Oh, hi, my name is Karen Levanos, and our video is about social working.
Why are you laughing? I don't get it. Oh my god.
I was doing good.
I'm so done.
I look so precious. Okay, I'm sorry. It's recording. Oh my God.